First and foremost, I want to say that it is an honor to have both you brothers on deck because of the fact that a lot of times folks talk about folks and in third and fourth and fifth person, and they never knew them. It's like they read a book or whatever, and that's an unfortunate thing, especially in the so-called movement these days. You get a cat that could tell you everything it is to know about what he read about somebody, but the folks who actually know the story and was there, they don't know too much about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or they don't get that recognition. Paradise, what's happening, family? We gonna start it off with you tonight.
Cool. What up?
Hey man, I want to start off with you tonight, man. You know, we talk about Larry Davis. Who is Larry Davis to you?
Oh man, Larry was my little brother, man. Just like Shams was. You know what I'm saying? You know, Larry was a good dude, man. You know, everybody, you know, have their preconceived notions of who he was and what he was about. But, you know, to me, Larry was a humble dude, you know what I'm saying? Very strong and powerful from a young age. So he was very physically intimidating to a lot of punks. Right. You know what I mean? He had big arms and a big chest. You know, had 4 older brothers who was all in jail. So he had to be able to hold his own against his brothers when they came home, tried to take over. Word. But Larry was you know, he loved to DJ, but most of all, he liked to build and ride motorcycles. And that's how me and Larry first got together, you know what I mean? He and everybody, I was a dude in the street in Highbridge that was always fighting in the streets. And as I grew older with hip-hop, I left the street fighting alone and I got into DJing, rapping and stuff like that. And then Larry was a young boy coming up. So everybody wanted to see me and Larry fight. You know what I'm saying? But secretly, I even though Larry was a few years younger than me, you know, I loved Larry, what he was doing, because he's 14, 15 years old, taking cars or motorcycles apart down to the ball bearing and being able to put them back together and make them work.
Right.
And, you know, one day he had this beautiful yellow and black motorcycle that he had just finished building, and I was just so happy to walk by his crib, and he was like revving the engine, testing it, and I was like, man, that's the most beautiful motorcycle I ever saw. And he was like, get on. And I jumped on back, and Larry took off down the hill, and from that moment on, me and Larry was good friends. He taught me how to ride motorcycles, and I taught him how to DJ.
Word. Nah, that's real solid, because that's a whole nother Larry Davis that folks would have never have gotten. In fact, to be honest with you, I didn't know the history between you and Larry until Shams was put me on a few days ago. I didn't even know that you all was connected like that. Of course, me with my ignorance.
Yeah, Highbridge, baby. Highbridge, the Bronx. You know, our spot in Highbridge on the West Bronx. You know, everybody talk about hip-hop was created in the South Bronx, but from the West Bronx, we got Pete DJ Jones, DJ CC Howard, we had the Grand Imperial DJ JC from the Herculoids, and Cool Herc. So you tell me, can't nobody tell me about the Bronx and hip-hop.
No doubt. That's hip-hop all day. Shams. Mr. Shams the Baron, Larry Davis. When we hear Larry Davis, for folks who never heard of Larry Davis, because there are some listeners that's listening here tonight, and we recognize that we cross all types of borders and boundaries, and we know that there's some folks that are youth, and there's some folks who never had the opportunity to know who Larry Davis is. I remember Larry Davis from watching Chuck Scarborough and them, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 11, when that whole manhunt situation was going down. Larry Davis, who is Larry Davis?
Well, like I said, you know what I'm saying, when I did the BET American Gangster and all that, Larry Davis ain't no different from any one of us out here. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is that, you know, Larry was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a product of hip-hop more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, as Paradise or any one of us could tell you, like Red, whatever, Red Alert, Larry was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? His passion was music. He could play every instrument. He could do the guitar. He could play drums. He was a phenomenal DJ. But, you know what I'm saying? When the stuff you know about that you heard about and what became the Larry Davis story is really all of our story. Because when crack came in the hood and it started to change the dynamic of the hood, it changed the dynamic of all of us, regardless of all the good stuff we was into. And Larry got caught up in that situation.
Right.
You know, and Paradise and Larry, they got similar, because they both was DJs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they got similar rise-ups, but it's just they made different choices. And that's the things that sometimes we gotta think about. Dice stuck with the DJing and the music and all this and that. But what was going on in the hood was so crazy for us that we went a different way.
Right.
And it culminated into what we know now as the Larry Davis story.
Word. So we talked about Larry Davis, the DJ. We talked about Paradise mentioned, his mechanical skills, the fact that he had, the biceps, he was intimidating, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, again, we heard the story about, he got into the whole situation, crack hit like 1986, 85, 86, that era. And most of us who were around during that time frame, we were either out there on the blocks pushing it, or we was using it. Thank God we wasn't using it. You know what I'm saying? But there was folks that that were, and there was folks who was actually pharmacists, as we would call it now. You know what I'm saying? So we know that Larry ran into that situation. Explain to me what happened and what was the steps that led to the police to come to his sister's house, I believe. How did that all transpire? Like, okay, he was out there. Was it a situation when they was like, look, this man selling drugs or whatever, let's go shut him down? What's the situation for the listeners that don't know?
Nah.
Go ahead, Dice.
You want to get that, Shams? Nah, man. Larry wasn't out there selling drugs until the police, Crazy Joe and them crooked-ass cops from the 44th precinct in the Bronx and the hybrid section forced Larry to sell crack. You know what I'm saying? We didn't believe in selling crack to our own people back then. Back then in our hood, they had to ship in a whole bunch of Jamaicans and Dominicans for crack to even come out in our hood. The people out there wouldn't even sell it. You know what I'm saying? And one of our homeboys, little Melly Mel, his name was Miles, they found him floating in the river with handcuffs on.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And one day,
stuff.
Larry, 14, 15 years old, the police grabbed him, threw him in the back of the police car. It was like, yo, you see that backpack in the back seat? Open it. He opens the backpack up. It's full of drugs. They gave him an ultimatum. Either they find you floating in the river, or we take you downtown and look what we found you with, or you get the hell out of our car and have our money for us in 2 weeks when we come back. So Larry didn't choose to be no drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? He had no choice. They chose Larry because he was one of the most intimidating forces on the street as a street fighter. And he had a little crew around him, and nobody really wanted it but Larry. So he was like the perfect one to get their drugs off of them without getting killed or getting ripped off.
Wow. So basically, it was like in most cases in the black community, and I'm glad you saying that, Paradise, because of the fact that when I say something like that, it's like some big conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know the communities we came from, especially coming up in the 80s, that there was always some crooked-ass cops who was out there pushing guns, who was pushing drugs, whether it was coke, dope, whatever.
Look, when Larry told me that story, I did not believe Larry when he told me that. And then one day he called me. He asked me if I would take a ride with him on the motorcycles because these crooked cops wanted to take him for a ride to Atlantic City, and he didn't want to go by himself because he thought that they might kill him and leave him on the side of the road. So I was like, yeah, right. He was like, nah, for real, Dice, come with me. You know what I mean? And I rode with him, and we definitely was accompanied by about 12 older white men riding on Harleys, and it was all armed. And I know that for a fact because I rode back from Atlantic City with one of them because Larry's bike was breaking down and he couldn't carry me back. So I rode with one of the cops back, and he had a big old gun right on his right hip the whole time. I was looking right at it. Like, so I definitely met a bunch of crooked cops that Larry was dealing with, and I rode with them to Atlantic City.
Word.
Listen. A lot of people, you know, because this shit sound like movie shit and all that. Right. And you got people that run around this and that because they ain't live that life like that. You know what I'm saying? Facebook make everybody gangster. Facebook make everybody whoever the fuck they want to be.
Right.
But this is real shit right here. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you gotta take into account that we was little dudes. We was young. Dice was young. L was young. I was young. You know what I'm saying? But this is for real. Before the DVDs, the movies, and the shit y'all know about and y'all talk about, this shit was really going on.
So when you say y'all was young, because of the fact that, again, and I'm glad, because that was one of my next questions. When you say you were young, I mean, like, what is young? What was young?
Yo, listen, we was 13, 14, 15. Now we in our 40s right now.
Yep.
But just think about your kid that's 13, 14, and 15.
Right.
Can you picture them doing the shit we was doing? Living like we was doing? Fuck all this shit you see going on now.
Right.
But just really think about the kids you got, the kids in your family. You know what I'm saying? And picture them having to negotiate with motherfucking police that's telling you, yo, you gonna do what we tell you to do. Otherwise, it's a done deal, nigga, for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? We talking real shit right here. All this stuff I see around a lot of times in the music, wherever you want to take it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that.
It's cartoons.
It's cartoons. Because this real shit. And this was when there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was nothing
no cell phones,
that could
none of that shit.
At least give you better information.
Right.
You had to go on the fly with this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what Dice is telling you about, this is real shit. This is Popo telling you like, yo, listen, we gonna take it wherever we gotta take it. We gonna do whatever we gotta do. You gonna do this. This is what it's about. That's why when we did the documentary, listen, we not trying to glorify none of that. We trying to educate people. When I was in the Apollo with Gary Bird and Mark Clark and whoever, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to expose shit that could benefit the community because, yo, this shit is real. This is my kids out there right now. This is your kids out there right now.
Word. You listen to Contraband Classified. We are live. This is a piece on Larry Davis, the legendary Larry Davis. And I say the legendary Larry Davis because Larry Davis is a hood legend. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, you know, he's a brother to you all. And like I said, I came up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I think we're around the same age. Yeah. And my whole thing is, we knew what time it was with him. We was rooting for the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? We was hoping that he would get away when he was on the land for like, what, 19 days, something like that? Yeah. It was coming on the news every single day. Huh? And we
17 days.
Yeah, and we was loving it because of the fact that we know how the police was fucking us over where we were from. You know what I mean? So we was glad that somebody finally put something in their asses. You know what I'm saying? So this was before a Ferguson. This before Bensonhurst. You know what I'm saying? Before Yusef Hawkins and all that.
This was in the time of Eleanor Bumpers.
Indeed.
Michael Stewart.
That was right before Yusef and all them.
Right before.
Yeah. Like I think Yusef was like 87 or something like that, 88, somewhere around there. But
you know, the other thing too, man, like that I thought was really important that he said, you know, about it's not just the information that you can get with social media now. And just in general on the web, it's also the communication. You don't have no fucking voice. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't have an outlet to be able to talk to people and say, yo, this is a problem. This is what's happening out here, and get people held accountable to raise awareness. You couldn't do shit, really. No. Except fight back. You know what I mean?
And that's where, I'm sorry, that's where you got to give respect to all the people, you know what I'm saying, that held Larry down. But Larry is a symbol of resistance for everybody. He's not a symbol of resistance just for himself. He could have just played this whole game a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? But him and the conscious community connected together. Sonny Carson, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Elambe Braff, you know what I mean? We could go on and on with the names.
Indeed.
Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, we could go on and on. But the thing is that we've learned how to use our experience. And this is your generation, the hip-hop generation. This is the only case in the hip-hop generation with political connotations to it.
Right.
That we can draw on. You can't bring nothing else. My man, none of that. You can't bring nothing else. This is the only case that this is one of you. He's from the streets.
Our peers.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's a product of hip-hop.
True indeed.
Dice testified to that. Red Alert, a lot of people testify to that. Greg Nice, a lot of people testify to that. Ultraman, a lot of people testify to that. But this is one of the first people that, you know what I'm saying, that come from amongst us, that been through that type of thing, that took us to another level as far as, you know, the struggle and the things that we did with.
Right. And even in hip hop, like you said, he was, you know, he was a straight hood legend. You know what I'm saying? I mean, his name was always revered amongst those MCs that knew what time it was. I want to rewind the tape a little bit because of the fact that Dice broke the ice with, you know, letting us know, you know, how the police pretty much came with their coercion and intimidation to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? What led to that November 17th, 19th?
19.
November 19th.
You're supposed to know that.
Hey.
You supposed not that date. You supposed to be on point with.
Listen, I'm always on point. But
No.
It was the 17 days and the 19 days and all that. I'm gonna let you got me on that. I'm gonna take that.
I got you.
I'm about to do 50 push-ups in a second. Cause I'm about to do 50 push-ups in a second. You know what I'm saying? November 19th is indeed.
That's what me and Larry used to do.
What's that? The push-ups?
Every day doing our push-ups.
Hey.
Oh yeah, getting in the backyard, lifting weights.
Yeah.
And everybody else would go to the store and say they was going to get it wasn't no 40s yet. This is back in the hood when you was drinking quarts of beer. Me and Larry was like, yo, Dice, you want to go get quart?
What y'all drinking, that private stock or that OE?
All the homies start following us to the store. We come out with quarts of milk.
Now, listen.
Quarts of milk.
Listen, Dice. Break that down.
Yep.
Listen.
Cats be mad at me, Larry. We ain't drink no beer. We ain't smoke no weed. We ain't smoke no cigarettes. We was all natural, just pumping iron, wrestling all day. And if you mess with us, you got knocked out with the hand without no weapons. That's how it was.
And
that's how our whole the West Side was like that. You could get a fair one in our hood. Everybody know how to throw their hands up, and we wouldn't put our guns up against each other. The only time the guns came into play in our hood was once they started importing in, like I said, a lot of foreigners into our community to pump the drugs for them. Then they the ones that brought guns and stuff from the third world country kind of attitude. That's how guns got on our streets. And, you know, but the cats in our hood had, for 35 years, the highest unsolved murder rate. Not the highest murder rate, the highest unsolved murder rate. Because in my hood, we did not talk to the police. We had street rules that we closely adhered to, and we would give each other fair ones. But if somebody smoked somebody in your family or your friend, you took care of it yourself. You did not go to the police in that hood. Period.
Word. Those are the days. Nobody had to wear no snitching shirts, right?
You going too hard, Dice. You going too hard, Dice.
First of all, it wasn't really nothing.
This fucking guy, Mr. Paradise Gray over here.
For real. You know, they did not bother you if you was not gang affiliated. The gangs left you alone.
Word.
If you wasn't flying colors like the Savage Skulls, the Savage Nomads, the Zulu, the Black Spades, you know what I'm saying? If you wasn't flying colors, gangs would not bother you.
Word.
Period.
Word.
So, you know, even with the gang warfare that was going on, you could get a fair one. The gangs even gave each other the fair ones without weapons.
Wow.
That's how it went down.
Yeah, man. Those days are ancient and old now, huh?
Oh.
Cats ain't got no heart.
But this is why we remembering Larry Davis.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind the theme, my thing is Larry's no different for any one of us out here. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't care where you from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
The bottom.
this is the way.
Go ahead, Dice.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You know what's funny is like everybody tried to paint him as some kind of crazy black Rambo and everything, but I didn't remember Larry like that. You know, like I said, he ain't have no problem giving it to you with his hands. But you know, my most vivid memories of Larry is like I took LL Cool J to Larry's crib. You know, LL had just put out his first record on Def Jam. He was hanging with me tight. So I took him to the Bronx and introduced him
know about
to people
that.
from my hood. And the first place I took him was to Larry's crib. And I remember Larry and LL battling on the beatbox, trying to see which one of them could play I Need a Beat the best. You know what I mean? Larry used to crack me up because he had these big hands. He had hands that looked like to slap your head off. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to see them big chubby fingers, you know, gently playing a guitar or playing a keyboard or the beatbox used to crack me up.
That's wild. That's wild. Again, you listen to Contraband Classified. Now, we taking it to November 19th.
Bring that volume down.
November 19th. The legendary date that cost me 50 push-ups a few seconds ago. I'll do them later. You know what I'm saying? I'm with my arms
I
up.
like that.
You know what I mean? We're here with my man Shams the Baron. We got Paradise Gray from X-Clan on the line, and we talking about Larry Davis, the hood legend, Mr. Larry Davis. Okay, boom. So again, I gotta put these guys back on track because they old school like me, and we'll never stay on track. You know what I'm saying? We be talking about one thing, we be talking about the pizza spot and all kinds of other shit in a minute. But anyway, November 19th, what led to that? Boom, we got the Coercion piece. We got the fact that, you know, that he was nice with his hands and he's beatboxing and all that. But what happened?
You gotta be specific on the question.
The question is, what led the police, these crooked bastards, I think it was 9 of them, to come to his sister crib
It was
and try to
25
take him out? 25 altogether.
It was actually 30 cops.
25.
It was 30 cops. All right. Some of them, about 25 of them, as Dice is telling you, comprise of the ESU unit, which is the Emergency Service Unit.
Right.
That's the New York equivalent to SWAT. In New York City, we don't have SWAT.
Right.
We have the ESU. So you got 25 cops that are affiliated or that's part of the Emergency Service Unit. That's like SWAT.
Okay.
All right. And the rest are detectives that are basically, these detectives dealt with Larry as far as, you know, the streets is concerned. You know what I'm saying? What led to it, basically, and I'm not going to go deep, but what led to it, basically, in a nutshell, is, you know, Larry's decision to say, I'm not going to sell no drugs for the police. I'm going to switch my shit up. I'm going to go legit. I'm going to focus on this music shit. When they realized that they top money seller was getting out the game and ain't trying to do nothing, they put a hit out on him. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, before any of y'all knew about all this, you know what I'm saying, we understood what it was. You know what I'm saying? We got the word. We knew what it was. And so Larry had to move a different way. And you know, I mean, you know, I can't go into the detail.
Right.
But the bottom line is they put the hit out and, you know, we was about to make a move, whatever the case is. And then, you know what I'm saying, shit got sour and it culminated into the shootout. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It came after him. But the bottom line is they didn't like the fact that he was trying to get out of the game. He was trying to leave that shit alone. You know, you go into any situation, I don't care where you go all over the United States, you know, we keep the police on the payroll because they corrupt as hell. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was with us. We kept them on the payroll. This is Mayor Koch we talking about. And Mayor Koch had the most corrupt government administration since Tammany Hall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that trickled down to every politician, to every police. And if you go back, you deal with what's the guy, Meese and different people from that administration who got caught up in scandals, this and that. Everybody was corrupt.
And the 50.
The dirty 30. Go ahead, Dice. The dirty 30. You know what I'm saying? This is at the height of the crack epidemic.
The dirty 30 in New York.
This is 86.
And you'll see what it was.
This is 86. This is the height of the crack epidemic.
Funny,
this is when dudes started really making money.
Right. You know, people think that's when it's really New Jack City. That's when the crack was popping in the hood.
If anybody talking about
Cat and them was rolling.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Name a name, whatever. It all went down during this time period. You know what I'm saying? The shit everybody talking about this,
That's
whatever. It went down during this time period. When you look at Dice, I'm gonna let you elaborate. But when you look at an album cover like Criminal Minded, I ain't gonna take nothing from my man Schoolie D.
Right.
But when you look at an album like Criminal Minded, where you think he got that from? Who inspired that? What inspired that? You know what I'm saying? There's only one case that where my 9mm goes bangs. You know what I'm saying? I knew a crack dealer by the name of Peter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Dice, you know what I'm talking about. These dudes is from our hoods, and they took that and they gave you the soundtrack to the streets.
D-Nice is from our hood.
D-Nice, that's family. That D-Nice is family. The Violators, Baby Chris, may rest in peace. All of that's family. We all roll together. So when you look at the development of hip hop, you look at Dice. That's Larry Mann right there. But he in the Latin Quarters, which is the incubator for a lot of the golden era shit. And the golden era shit is important. I'm probably going everywhere with this right now. My bad. No disrespect. But listen, the golden era is so important because, listen, that's when we put the hardcore back into hip hop. Before that, it was that, no disrespect. I hope nobody get me on the radio with this. But before that, it was that fake Fat Boys and Run DMC, and no disrespect, I love my nigga. But
commercial.
You know what I'm saying? It's the commercial bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't think that what we was doing in the street inspired these dudes to go in and just reflect that? And you ain't gonna give no props to Red Alert or to Paradise who helped expose that? And this ain't no industry like niggas had a budget shit. Am I right? Said G. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no industry. We did
just for the host. Right. And, just for the host, just to let y'all know, we're not trying to gloss nothing over, but I mean, all the other details of Larry's case, you could get on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? The whole Larry Davis story is on there. You could read about the ins and outs of exactly what went down on the day of the shootout, and even a lot of the stuff that that led to it. But what you will not get anywhere is you won't get people who know Larry Davis, the human being, the person. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they do so much to dehumanize us. You know what I'm saying? And make you think that Larry was some kind of incredible killing machine or something.
Right.
That's not true.
Right. And that's why we wanted to get you brothers on.
He's just a regular brother who decided one night that I am not going to die tonight.
Word.
And if I am going to die, I'm going to take y'all motherfuckers with me. As many of y'all as I can.
And that's a beautiful statement.
That's the bottom line of this.
And that was a beautiful reflection as well.